All right, let's jump right in. Have you ever just stopped and wondered why these brilliant, really well-managed companies, the absolute giants in their fields, suddenly just fail? I mean, they're listening to their customers, they're investing in the latest tech, and they still fall off a cliff. It's this huge puzzle in the business world, right? And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. So, our story kicks off with this headline from way back in 1984. IBM, who at the time was the undisputed king of computing, launched a product that was supposed to change the home computer market forever, the PCJR. They threw everything they had at it, their best people, tons of money. The hype was real, the market was waiting, and it was a complete and total disaster. A flop.
And we're not talking a small failure. We're talking about an estimated $1 billion failure, just gone. And remember, this wasn't some little startup. This was IBM. These were the smartest people in the industry, and they still got it so wrong. But why?
This isn't just some old business story either. This very question is what the legendary Clayton Christensen called the innovator's dilemma. And believe me, it is just as scary for big companies today as it was for IBM back then. How is it possible that doing everything right can lead you to the worst possible outcome?
Well, to get to the bottom of this, we've got to start by looking at the #1 tool companies use to understand their customers, and more importantly, why that tool so often leads them in the completely wrong direction.
I'm sure you've all seen this before. Companies spend millions and millions of dollars creating these super detailed customer personas. They map out their age, where they live, their hobbies. They're trying to build this perfect picture of their ideal customer. The whole idea is, hey, if you know who your customer is, you'll know exactly what to build for them. But here's the thing. There's a massive flaw in that logic.
Okay, now this slide. This is where it gets really interesting. This just completely dismantles that whole persona idea. I mean, look at this. On paper, these two people have absolutely nothing in common. A persona would put them in totally different boxes. And yet, they both went out and bought the exact same smartphone for the exact same reason, to connect with family. Their attributes couldn't be more different, but their motivation, it's identical.
And this really gets to the core of the issue. Personas are pretty good at describing who your customers are, but they are terrible, absolutely terrible at explaining why they do what they do. They show you a connection, a correlation, but they don't give you the cause. And if you don't understand the cause, you're just guessing when it comes to innovation.
All right, so if personas are the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's actually a pretty simple shift in how you look at things, but trust me, it changes everything. Instead of focusing on the customer, we need to start focusing on the job.
This is the big idea. It's called jobs to be done theory, and it says that people don't really buy products at all. What they do is they have a job that pops up in their life. A problem they need to solve, some progress they're trying to make, and they hire a product or a service to get that job done for them.
I love this way of thinking about it. Is your customer hiring your product to feel more connected to their friends? To save an hour in their busy day? To look smarter in front of their boss? See, when you start thinking like this, all the features of your product suddenly become less important than the outcome, the progress it delivers.
This quote from the founder of Revlon just nails it, doesn't it? He understood completely. He knew they weren't just selling a bunch of chemicals mixed together in a bottle. No, they were being hired for the job of making people feel hopeful, confident, beautiful. The cosmetic was just the tool they used. The hope was the real job. So this means a job is way deeper than just a simple task you need to check off a list. It's really about overcoming a struggle. It's about the emotional side of it, the social progress someone is trying to make in their life. The job is the real why behind what they're doing. And once you get this idea of hiring and firing products, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere. It's basically the engine that drives what economists call creative destruction.
Let's take Kodak. For 100 years, they were hired for one main job: help me capture and share my memories. And for a long time, film was the best employee for that job. But Kodak made a fatal mistake. They thought they were in the film business, not the memory business. So when a better employee came along, the digital camera, which, get this, they invented, they completely missed it. Then the iPhone made that job instant, easy, and free. And customers fired film almost overnight.
And this cycle is just relentless. It happens over and over. Blockbuster got hired for easy home entertainment. Bam, fired by Netflix, who did the job way better.
Vacuum tubes were hired to amplify signals. Transistors came along and did the same job, but they were smaller, cheaper, and way more reliable. The job stays the same, but the things we hire to do it are always at risk of getting fired.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is a cool theory, but check out the numbers. They're just staggering. When companies actually use a real jobs-to-be-done process, their innovation success rate skyrockets to 86%. Meanwhile, the old-school persona-based methods, they barely hit 17%. Focusing on the job makes innovation 5 times more predictable. That's huge.
So why does all of this matter right now more than ever before? Well, let's apply this whole framework to the biggest technological shift of our lifetimes, artificial intelligence.
Everyone is in this mad rush to find ways to use AI, but honestly, a lot of them are just creating cool tech that's looking for a problem to solve. The really smart strategists, though, are using jobs to be done to cut through all the noise and find the places where AI can get hired for a job that people are already desperate to get done better.
Just look at healthcare. It's a perfect example. Where is AI really taking off? It's not in replacing some other piece of software. Nope. It's in replacing expensive and time-consuming human work. The job of accurately documenting a patient visit is currently hiring a human scribe. Well, AI can now do that job for a fraction of the cost, which makes hiring it a no-brainer.
And that right there is the key insight for anyone working with new technology today. The most powerful innovations don't compete with other products. They compete with the way things are done right now. For AI, the biggest opportunity by far is to get hired for a job that a human is doing today, but to do it with a massive leap in efficiency and savings.
So the big takeaway from all this is simple but so powerful. You have to shift your focus. Stop asking, who is my customer, and start asking, what job is my customer trying to get done? Stop obsessing over personas and demographics and start obsessing over the progress your customer is trying to make in their own life.
And that brings us to the final, crucial question. This is the question that separates the companies that win from the ones that, even though they were smart and well-run, end up as just another warning story. Because if you don't know the answer to this question, you can bet that your competitor is out there right now figuring it out. So what job are you really being hired for?